Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over the individual security analysis that you can go through and find here on Advisor Tools. Sort of one of the main uses that we have here on that when you're doing some in-depth analysis on an individual security, whether it be an equity, ETF, or mutual fund. I'm going to go through what we provide on each individual security level. So the first thing, this is the main page of Advisor Tools here, and when you want to search for a particular, we'll start on the stock side. If you want to search for a particular company, there's two ways that you can go about doing it. The first one, if you do have an equity watch list, and this is the same for ETFs and mutual funds as well. If you do have the ticker on your watch list that you do want to do more analysis on, you can click on that ticker on the highlighted ticker symbol here with any of these different companies. Or you can also search the ticker up top here in the search bar. And for this example, I'm just going to use Apple, and we can just search the ticker right there and click enter. And the first page it's going to take us to is this key stats page where we can find any sort of valuation ratio, price performance, consensus price targets, as well as the alpha scores that we provide here for Sax as well. And any of these different items you can hover over, provides a brief description, or provides sort of an equation that goes into that particular ratio or item. And if the item is highlighted in blue, if you click on that item there, it will bring you to a time series chart of that particular item or ratio that is highlighted in blue, and if you click on it there. But just coming back, we also have within this key stats page, fundamental surprise chart where you can chart earning surprises and revenue surprises. This NFM surprise chart here, you can also chart non-financial metrics, different key metrics that drive the company's revenues and earnings and the stock price. So different items or metrics to chart there. We also do have this consensus model, which is an Excel workbook that includes consensus estimates and growth rates for key line items and segments and metrics that drive the stock price as well. So if we do provide it for that particular company, you will see them at the bottom of underneath these different tabs here with in the fundamental surprise, non-financial metrics, and consensus model. The other tabs that I'll go through, the next one is this quote tab, and here is where you can find intraday pricing information, highs, lows, etc., along with other intraday pertinent items that you can find within this page. The next few tabs are charting options, whether it be fundamental, performance, or technical charting. If you click onto any of those charting tabs, it will provide directly bring up that particular company. So in this case, it'll be Apple, and from there you'll be able to chart it on a fundamental basis, comparison on performance, or on a more technical analysis as well. And if you do want to find some more information as far as our charting capabilities, please feel free to watch our charting instructional video. The next tab that I'll go over is the Sax Research Tab. Similar to within the watch list, you can find those different reports that we have on these companies. And for the equity side, we provide two different reports. Analyst report, which is kind of an 8 to 10 page written summary, and as well as a snapshot report, which is more of a one-page data overview of the company as well. And if you're searching for a company or searching for that report because they're not in your watch list, you can find those reports underneath this Sax Research tab. And if you come over to the right side here and you click Analysts or Snapshot, you'll be able to pull up that report. And it will also bring up the option to print the report as a PDF in the top right. And within these reports, like I said, this is the analyst report where you can find written summary, overview, elements of our ranking, and depending on the ranking, we will provide a section of reasons to buy as well as reasons to sell. And depending if the ranking we have maybe as a hold, like Apple here, will provide sort of both sides of the spectrum here, just to kind of give you both sides, since we don't necessarily have an opinion on it right now as well. The next tab is the Estimates tab, and here's where you can find all of the estimates and surprise information on that company, whether it be earnings estimates, sales estimates, and you can keep scrolling through, and any sort of estimates information that we have on the company you can find underneath this tab. The next one is quant models. Along with our flagship here at Sax, the Sax Rank, for the equity side, we also provide other quantitative models or scores, complementary scores to the Sax Rank, and you can find all of these different ones on this quant models page here. If you do want to find maybe a little bit more information on what goes into each of these different rankings, as well as some performance history, you can click on to any of these green eyes next to the score, and it will provide, once you open it, it'll bring up a PDF as far as background, performance, and some performance history tables or graphs to see how that score has done. And of course, if you have any questions on any of these rankings or want to set up a training session, please feel free to contact your account manager or our general advisor tool support line, and we're more than happy to assist and answer any of your questions that you might have. The next tab in the individual security analysis is the Peers tab. This is a little bit more of the ability to have a customizable view to compare the company you're doing your analysis on with other tickers, other industries or sectors, and you can compare them with any items that we provide on this left-hand column here. So we can provide the, we can click on any of these. We can use the PE ratio using EPS estimates. And what you'll first find when you go to this page is sort of a general, already made out sort of comparison with different companies and different sectors or industries. On this Options tab in the top right, you can add different companies to this list, or you can also take different companies off, as well as removing and adding different sectors and industries to compare to as well. And you also do have the ability to export any of this data to Excel if you do want to go through more of an analysis outside advisor tools as well. So really good customizable standpoint if you do want to compare certain companies within the company that you're already doing a deeper dive on. The next tab is the Attributes tab. It's a little bit less customizable, but you can find sort of general analysis, general information that we have on any of these different sectors or industries. You can click on, for this one, we'll click on the global sector. Here it provides different market valuation, valuation ratios, financial aggregates, the major stocks, sort of intraday view, within this global sector, as well as some industry news and events. So sort of a nice overall view to monitor the certain sector industry for that company that you're doing an individual analysis on. The news and events tabs, pretty self-explanatory. Any sort of news that we have or that we have through our news providers, you can find within this news tab here. You can go through all the different news providers that we have here. And if there's not a particular news provider that we have in here, but you do want to add, please contact our support line or your account manager, and we can go through the process of looking into seeing if we can add it to Advisor Tools or not. Events tab, this is sort of a calendar view as far as events to monitor for that particular company. The financials tab, this is where you can look up a company's income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, segment information, general or metric information, and any of these different reports here or forms do have the ability to export to Excel as well. So on the individual equity side analysis, that's really sort of a short overview of what we provide. On the next sort of area that I'll cover is the ETF side of the security analysis that we provide. So we can just look up any sort of ETF ticker. Brings us to our key stats page, and the format is generally the same as the stock individual analysis, just different information and items that are provided on the page. For example, here, something we provide is obviously the top 10 equity holdings within the ETF here, as well as some fund performance. And some of the different tabs that we provide as far as, you can find those different reports that we provide under the Sax Research tab. Here you can look up the holdings for that particular ETF, as well as the weights within that ETF. And you can also look up the prospectus. If we do have one for that ETF, it will be provided underneath this tab as well. So generally sort of the same view, just different items that we provide information. And for what our mutual fund individual research provides, we can look up any sort of mutual fund ticker. And if we click on that, it'll bring us to the key stats page for that mutual fund. Just like the ETF and stock key stats page, the format is generally the same, just different information and items provided on that page. Different areas as far as style analysis, stock sector breakout, risk analysis, fund performance. Here we provide the performance on a time basis for that particular mutual fund, as well as within the mutual fund, we put that mutual fund within a particular category, and if it's in a particular category, we'll provide the category average return. And comparing the mutual fund rank within the category average, we will put together within that time frame sort of a ranking of that mutual fund within the category, ranking it on a 1 to 100 scale, 1 being the best in the top percent of that category. So here you can see this particular fund, how it's done compared to its overall category. Different areas, you can find the report that we have on the mutual fund within the Sax Research tab, different areas that we provide, composition, risk analysis, and the profile this section provides some pertinent information, particularly for the fund, mainly the fund description. So as far as differences and as far as the overall individual security analysis, that's really the information and where you can find all the information that we provide on the different securities that we cover, ETFs, equities, mutual funds, within these pages and tabs whenever you search a particular ticker. So if you do have any questions going forward, or if you want to set up a training session to review, like I said, please feel free to contact your account manager. You can also contact us through this support tab, clicking contact us, and this provides our general information for our advisor tool support line and general email.